The crowd was cheering. Fireworks exploded above Times Square. Strangers hugged. Music blasted from every direction. But in the middle of all that noise, a little girl was crying. She stood still while millions counted down to the new year, and no one noticed, no one, until a lonely old man stopped walking. You can disappear even in the middle of a crowd. Times Square on New Year's Eve didn't feel real. Lights as bright as daylight, screens taller than buildings. People packed shoulder to shoulder, shouting, laughing, celebrating. It was supposed to be the happiest place to be that night, but for Mia, it was terrifying. She was 6 years old, small. Wrapped in a red coat her mum had zipped up too fast. A glittery New Year's headband slipping down her forehead. 1 second, she'd been holding her mother's hand. The next, she wasn't. Mia turned in circles, her heart pounding. "Mama!" she called. Her voice vanished into the noise. She tried again. Nothing. The crowd kept moving like a river, and she was a stone at the bottom, drowning in legs and coats and shopping bags. Somewhere a band played. Somewhere confetti cannons were being prepared. Somewhere champagne bottles were being opened early in celebration, but Mia couldn't see any of it. She could only see knees, belt buckles, the backs of jackets. A man laughed right next to her ear, too loud, smelling like beer. A woman's purse swung past her face. Someone stepped on her shoe, kept walking, never looked back. The world suddenly felt way too big, and Mia felt smaller than she'd ever felt in her life. Fear doesn't scream, it freezes. At first, Mia thought it was a mistake. Her mum would appear any second. That always happened. Last summer at the beach, Mia had wandered toward the water. She turned around and couldn't see her mom. Panic had flooded her chest, but then there she was, running toward her, scooping her up. "Don't scare me like that, baby." This would be the same, so Mia stayed where she was. That's what her mom had taught her. If you get lost, don't run, stay still, I'll find you. So Mia stayed still. People brushed past her, bumped into her shoulder, stepped around her like she was a signpost. No one looked down. Minutes passed. 1 minute, 2, 5. Her eyes filled with tears. The countdown clocks around Times Square ticked closer to midnight. 18 minutes left, and Mia began to understand something she had never felt before. She wasn't just lost, she was invisible. The realization came slowly, like cold water rising. All these people, thousands, maybe millions, and not one of them saw her. She was there, but she wasn't there. Mia's chin trembled. She bit her lip hard, trying not to cry, because crying was for babies, and she was 6 now, almost 7, and she was supposed to be brave. But the tears came anyway, hot and fast, rolling down her cheeks, blurring the lights above into smears of gold and red and blue. Some people are alone long before the night begins. Walter Hughes hadn't planned to be in Times Square. He never did. But New Year's Eve was hard when you had no one left to call. Walter was 72, a widower, retired maintenance worker, quiet in a way that made people forget he was there. His wife had loved New Year's, Margaret. God, how she'd loved it. Loved the noise, the lights, the feeling that something new could still happen. She used to drag him out every year, sometimes to Times Square, sometimes to Brooklyn Bridge, sometimes just to their fire escape with a bottle of cheap champagne and a radio. "Come on, Walt," she'd say, pulling his arm. "Well, the world's starting over. You have to at least try to feel hopeful." He'd grumble, complain about the cold, about the crowds, but he'd always gone. Because when Margaret smiled, the whole world seemed lighter. After she passed, Walter avoided celebrations, avoided anything that reminded him of her voice Her laugh, the way she used to kiss him at midnight like they were teenagers again. 3 years now, 3 New Year's Eves alone. But that night, his apartment felt too quiet. The walls pressed in, the silence screamed. So he walked, hands in his pockets, hat pulled low, moving through the crowd like a ghost. He didn't want to celebrate. He just didn't want to be alone with his own thoughts anymore. And Times Square, loud, chaotic, overwhelming, was the perfect place to disappear. That's when he heard it. Not loud, not dramatic. A small sound that didn't belong. A child's sob. Kindness begins when you don't keep walking. Walter stopped. He looked around. Fireworks cracked overhead in a test run. People screamed, "Happy New Year," early, drunk and impatient. Then he saw her, a little girl standing perfectly still, red coat, glittery headband, tears on her cheeks, lower lip trembling, eyes searching faces that never looked back. Walter hesitated. Someone else would help. Someone younger. Someone official. Someone who knew what to do. He wasn't good with kids, never had been. He and Margaret had wanted them once, but life had other plans, and eventually they'd stop trying. He took one step forward, then stopped again. It's not your problem, he thought. Keep walking. But then he heard it again, that small, broken sob, and he remembered something his wife used to say, "If you noticed, it's probably meant for you." Margaret had said that about everything. Stray cats, lost wallets, elderly neighbors who needed groceries carried upstairs. The world puts things in your path for a reason, Walt. Don't ignore them. Walter closed his eyes, took a breath, then turned back. The right voice can cut through any noise. Walter knelt carefully in front of her. His knees protested, arthritis, old age, too many years climbing ladders and fixing pipes, but he ignored the pain. "Hey there," he said gently. Mia jumped. She looked at him like she wasn't sure if he was real. Up close, Walter could see how scared she was. Her eyes were red. Her nose was running. Her little hands were clenched into fists at her sides. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" Her voice came out broken. "I can't find my mom." Those 6 words hit him harder than the fireworks. Suddenly he wasn't in Times Square anymore. He was 8 years old, lost in a department store during Christmas. He remembered that feeling, the world tilting, the panic rising, the certainty that he'd never see his mother again. He'd found her eventually, but those 5 minutes had felt like forever. Walter forced himself back to the present. "When did you last see her?" Mia pointed behind her toward the main stage area. "We were counting together, practicing for midnight." Walter glanced up at the massive screens. 11 minutes to midnight. Not much time before the chaos peaked. "Did you try calling her name?" Mia nodded, fresh tears spilling over. "She can't hear me. Nobody can hear me." Walter took a slow breath, trying to project calm. "That's okay," he said. "You did the right thing by staying still. That was very smart." She looked at him with those wide, wet eyes. "You're not leaving." Something in her voice broke him. The fear, the expectation that everyone would leave, that she didn't matter enough for someone to stay. "No," he said quietly, "I'm staying. Safety isn't a place, it's a person." Walter took off his scarf and wrapped it gently around Mia's neck. "Is that okay?" he asked. She nodded. It smelled like soap and winter air and something else, something that reminded her of her grandpa, who lived far away and only visited at Christmas. It smelled like safety. "What's your name?" Walter asked. "Mia." "That's a beautiful name. I'm Walter. Like Walter White." He blinked. "The chemist from Breaking Bad." My dad watches it. Walter almost smiled. Not quite like that, Walter. I fixed toilets for 40 years. Oh, much less exciting, but honest work. Mia wiped her nose with her sleeve. Do you know your mum's phone number? Walter asked. Mia recited it perfectly, proud that she'd memorized it like her mum had taught her. Walter pulled out his ancient flip phone, the kind that made younger people do double takes, and dialed carefully. It rang and rang. Then, voicemail. Hi, you've reached Sarah Williams. Leave a message and I'll call you back. Walter kept his voice calm and clear. This is Walter Hughes. I'm with your daughter, Mia. She's safe. We're near the TKTS booth in Times Square. She's okay, but she can't find you. Please call this number when you get this message. We'll stay right here. He hung up, looked at Mia. Your mum's phone is probably in her pocket. With all this noise and all these people, she probably can't hear it ring. But she'll check it soon, and when she does, she'll call us. Mia clutched his coat. What if she doesn't? Then we'll try something else. Like what? Walter thought for a moment. What does your mom look like? Can you describe her to me? She has black hair in a ponytail. And she's wearing a purple jacket, a bright purple one. Purple jacket, got it. How tall is she? Mia held her hand up above her head. Really tall. Walter smiled. Taller than me. Maybe the same. Okay. Anything else? Does she have a bag? Yes, a big black bag. She keeps everything in it. Good. That's good information. Walter stood up slowly, his knees creaking. He looked around at the crowd, thousands of people. Finding one woman in a purple jacket would be like finding a specific grain of sand on a beach, but he had to try. Mia, I need you to stay right here, right on this spot. Can you do that? Her eyes went wide with fear. You're leaving? No. I'm gonna stand up on those stairs over there, he pointed to the red steps nearby, and look for your mom. I'll be able to see you the whole time, and you'll be able to see me. I'm not leaving. I'm just getting a better view. Okay. Mia hesitated. Promise you won't go away. I promise. Look, I'm gonna give you my hat. I never go anywhere without my hat. So you know I'm coming back. He took off his wool newsboy cap and placed it gently on her head. It was too big, slipped down over her eyes. Mia pushed it up and managed a small smile. Okay, I'll be right there. Keep your eyes on me. Hope is looking for a purple jacket in a sea of black coats. Walter climbed the red steps carefully. His legs protested, his lungs burned, but he kept going. At the top, he turned and waved at Mia. She waved back, clutching his hat. Good. She could see him. Now he turned to the crowd. 11:47 p.m., 13 minutes to midnight. The crowd was getting denser, louder, more chaotic. Walter scanned the sea of faces, looking for purple, for a woman searching, for someone who looked desperate. There, a flash of purple near the Olive Garden. Walter squinted, but it was a man in a purple shirt, not her. He kept looking. Another purple jacket, but on a teenager. Wrong person. Walter's phone stayed silent in his pocket. He checked it just to make sure. No missed calls, no messages. Come on, he thought. Check your phone. Please check your phone. He looked back at Mia. She was still there, still watching him. He gave her a thumbs up. She returned it weakly. Walter turned back to the crowd, and that's when he saw someone that made his heart sink. A police officer, making his way through the crowd, checking on people, doing crowd control. Walter waved. Officer! The cop looked up. Young guy, maybe 30. Officer, can you help me? The cop climbed up beside him. What's the problem? Walter pointed to Mia. That little girl down there. She's lost. Can't find her mother. The officer looked. "Idan, how long has she been lost?" "I found her about 20 minutes ago, but she might have been alone longer than that." The officer nodded. "I'll radio it in. We have protocols for this. Her mother's name is Sarah Chen. She's wearing a purple jacket, black hair in a ponytail, big black bag." The cop wrote it down. "And the girl's name? Mia. How old?" 6. The officer spoke into his radio. Static. Voices. Official codes. Walter didn't understand. "Okay," the cop said. "We'll put out a call. Usually these things resolve pretty quickly. Mum's probably at a lost and found station right now. Is there one nearby?" "Several. We have them set up at different points around the square." Walter felt a surge of hope. "Can we take her there?" The officer looked at the crowd. At the time, at the chaos building toward midnight. "Best thing is to stay put. Mom will check those stations, and if she doesn't find her daughter, they'll direct her back here based on our radio call." Walter nodded. It made sense, but it also meant more waiting. More time for Mia to be scared. "I'll stay with her," Walter said. "You know her?" "No, I found her crying. I couldn't leave her alone." The officer studied him for a moment. Walter knew what he was thinking. Old man, strange kid. But then the cop nodded. "And that's good of you. We need more people like you. I'll check back in 10 minutes. He headed back into the crowd. Walter climbed down the steps. Mia ran to him. "Did you find her?" "Not yet, but I talked to a police officer. He's helping look too." "So she's coming?" "Soon," Walter said, hoping it was true. Responsibility feels different when it's not yours to carry. Walter felt the weight of it now. A child, someone else's child, in his care, in this chaos. He scanned the crowd, looking for police officers, security personnel, anyone official who might help. But everyone was focused on crowd control, on keeping the celebrations safe, on managing the massive press of humanity that had turned Times Square into a human sardine can. His phone stayed silent in his pocket. 9 minutes to midnight. "Are you cold?" he asked Mia. She shook her head, even though she was shivering. Walter unbuttoned his coat and opened it like a wing. "Come here. You can have my coat." Mia hesitated for only a second before stepping into the warmth. Walter wrapped the coat around her. She was so small, so fragile. "Tell me about your mom," Walter said, trying to distract her. "What does she look like?" "She has black hair, in a ponytail, and she's wearing a purple jacket." "Purple jacket, got it? Anything else?" "She's really pretty. And she smells like flowers." "What kind of flowers?" Mia thought hard. "The pink ones. Roses." "No, the other ones, with lots of petals. Peonies." "Yes, those." Walter smiled. "My wife loved peonies." "Where is she?" The question was innocent, childlike, but it still hurt. "She died," Walter said quietly. 3 years ago. "Oh." Mia looked up at him. "Do you miss her?" "Every day." "Is that why you're here?" "Because you're lonely." Kids, they just said it. No filter, no pretense, just truth. "Yeah," Walter admitted. "That's why I'm here." Mia nodded like this made perfect sense. "My mum says it's okay to be sad sometimes, but not forever." Walter felt something crack in his chest. "Your mum sounds very wise." "She is. She knows everything." "Then she definitely knows how to find you." Mia leaned her head against his side, and Walter felt something he hadn't felt in years. Needed. The world can rush past while one moment stands still. The countdown began. 10! People screamed, thousands of voices merging into one roar. 9! Confetti cannons loaded with a mechanical hiss. 8! Mia pressed closer to Walter. 7! Walter put a protective arm around her shoulders. 6! He ignored the chaos, the bodies pressing in, the drunk couple stumbling past. 5. He only watched her face. 4. Tears still there, but hope too. 3. Mia closed her eyes. 2. Walter squeezed her shoulder gently. 1. Fireworks exploded. The sky lit up in gold and silver and red. Strangers kissed, champagne sprayed, confetti rained down like snow. The new year arrived, and Mia was still lost. Hope doesn't come on schedule. The celebrations swirled around them. "Happy New Year!" someone shouted in Walter's face. He nodded politely, said nothing. Mia opened her eyes. She didn't come. Her voice was so small, so defeated. "She will," Walter said. "Give it a minute. The phones are probably jammed. Everyone's calling everyone right now." As if on cue, his flip phone buzzed in his pocket. Not a call, a text. Walter pulled it out, squinting at the screen. "Where are you? Please, where is she?" His heart leaped. He typed back slowly with his thumbs, cursing the tiny buttons. "TKTS booth, red stairs area. We're here." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Coming. 2 minutes. Don't move." Walter looked at Mia. "She's coming. Right now." Mia's face transformed. "Really? Really? 2 minutes?" Mia started crying again, but this time they were different tears. Losing your child feels like losing your heart. Sarah Williams had been searching for 37 minutes. 37 minutes that felt like 37 years. She'd been standing with Mia, holding her hand, pointing at the ball drop platform, explaining how it worked, and then someone pushed past them, a drunk guy with a giant foam finger. Sarah had let go of Mia's hand for just a second to steady herself. 1 second when she reached back. Empty air. "Mia!" She'd spun around, looked down. Nothing. MIA. Panic had hit her like a physical blow. She'd pushed through the crowd, screaming her daughter's name until her voice went hoarse. She'd grabbed strangers, asking if they'd seen a little girl in a red coat. No one had. Or if they had, they didn't remember. Sarah had called Mia's name until she couldn't breathe, until her throat burned, until she wanted to collapse. She'd called her own phone 17 times, hoping Mia might somehow have it, knowing she didn't. She'd found 2 police officers and reported her missing. They'd taken her information, told her to stay in one place, but Sarah couldn't. She couldn't just stand still while her daughter was out there, alone, terrified. So she'd kept searching, and searching, and searching, until finally, her phone buzzed. A voicemail from a number she didn't recognize. "This is Walter Hughes. I'm with your daughter, Mia. She's safe." Sarah's legs nearly gave out. She'd called back immediately. Voicemail. She'd texted, and now she was running, pushing through the crowd like a woman possessed. People yelled at her. She didn't care. Nothing mattered except getting to her daughter. Some reunions feel like breathing again. Sarah saw them before they saw her. The old man in the dark coat, the little girl wrapped in his arms, the red coat she'd bought for Christmas. MIA! Her voice cracked, broke, shattered. Mia's head snapped up. Mama! They collided in tears and relief. Sarah dropped to her knees on the cold, confetti-covered ground, pulling Mia into her arms, holding her so tight, never wanting to let go. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Sarah sobbed. I thought I lost you, baby, I thought. She couldn't finish. Mia was crying too, face buried in her mother's neck. I stayed still, like you said. I stayed still. You were so brave. So brave. Sarah pulled back just enough to look at her daughter's face, to touch her cheeks, her hair, her little hands, making sure she was real, making sure she was whole. Then Sarah looked up at the old man standing a few feet away, quiet, respectful, already fading into the background. "Wait," Sarah called. Walter stopped. Sarah stood, keeping one hand on Mia's shoulder, and reached for Walter's hands. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't." She couldn't finish that sentence either. Walter shook his head. "You were coming," he said simply. "She just needed someone to wait with her." "But you stayed. You could have walked away." "No," Walter said quietly. "I couldn't." Sarah's eyes filled with fresh tears. "Thank you. Thank you so much." Mia broke away from her mother and ran back to Walter. She hugged him hard, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Thank you for staying." Walter's eyes grew wet. He crouched down to her level one more time. "You're very welcome, Mia. You take care of your mom, okay?" Mia nodded seriously. "Happy New Year," she said. Walter smiled, really smiled, for the first time in longer than he could remember. "Happy New Year, kid." Sometimes rescue works both ways. Walter walked home slowly. The crowd was thinning now. People streaming towards subways and parking garages, the celebration winding down. He expected to feel empty again, alone again, but he didn't. He felt something else, something warm in his chest, something that had been missing. Purpose. For 37 minutes, he had mattered. For 37 minutes, he had been exactly where he needed to be. He thought about Margaret, what she would have said. "See? The world puts things in your path for a reason." She'd been right. As always, Walter pulled out his phone and looked at Sarah's number, still on his recent calls list. He almost deleted it, but then he saved it instead, just in case. When he got home, his apartment didn't feel quite so empty. Some moments echo longer than others. 3 days later, Walter's phone rang. He almost didn't answer. Telemarketers, usually, but something made him pick up. "Hello? Hi, is this Walter?" The voice was familiar. "This is Sarah, Mia's mom. I hope it's okay that I'm calling." Walter sat up straighter. "Of course. Is everything all right?" "Yes, more than all right. I wanted to call and properly thank you. When you have a moment to actually think, you know." Walter smiled. "I understand. Mia hasn't stopped talking about you, about the nice man who stayed with her. She's a good kid. She is, because of people like you." There was a pause. Then Sarah said, "I was wondering, would you like to come over for dinner sometime? Mia would love to see you again, and I'd love to properly thank you." Walter hesitated. He didn't want to intrude, didn't want to be charity. But then he remembered Mia's face, her hug, her thank you. "I'd like that," he said. "Family isn't always born. Sometimes it's chosen." The following Saturday, Walter stood outside a brownstone in Brooklyn. He'd brought flowers, peonies, pink ones. The door opened before he could knock. "Walter!" Mia launched herself at him. He caught her, laughing. "Hey there, kiddo! Miss me?" "So much." Sarah appeared behind her, smiling. Come in. It's freezing out there." The apartment was warm, lived in. Pictures on the walls, toys in the corner. The smell of something delicious cooking. Sarah had made pot roast. Mia insisted Walter sit next to her at the table. She told him about school, about her best friend Lucy, about how she was learning to read chapter books now. Walter listened to every word, asked questions, laughed at her jokes. After dinner, Mia asked if he wanted to see her drawings. "I drew one of you," she said proudly. It was a stick figure with a hat and a scarf, standing next to a smaller stick figure, stars and confetti falling around them. "That's us on New Year's," Mia explained. Walter's throat tightened. "It's perfect," he managed. "You can keep it." "Really?" "Yeah. So you remember?" Walter looked at this little girl who had somehow walked into his life in the middle of chaos. "I could never forget," he said quietly. "Sometimes strangers become family without anyone planning it." The dinner became dinners. Weekly, then twice weekly. Walter started showing up on Saturday mornings to take Mia to the park, to teach her how to fly a kite, to buy her hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. Sarah was a single mom. Mia's father had left when she was 2. It had been just the 2 of them for years. Sarah had been hesitant at first, careful, but Walter never overstepped, never presumed. He was just there, a steady presence, a grandfather figure Mia had never had. On Walter's birthday, they surprised him with a cake. On Mia's birthday, he gave her a telescope. "So you can see the stars," he said. Mia hugged him. "You're my favorite person," she whispered. Walter's eyes grew wet. "You're mine too, kiddo." Kindness doesn't end, it echoes. The next New Year's Eve, Walter wasn't alone. Mia and her mom visited him earlier that day. They brought soup and a card. Inside it said, "Thank you for not walking away. Happy New Year to our family." Walter kept it on his table all year. Sarah had written something else too, in smaller letters at the bottom. "Margaret was right. The world puts things in your path for a reason. Thank you for listening." Walter had told her about Margaret, about her wisdom, about how much he missed her. Sarah had listened, really listened, and she'd said something that changed everything. "She's still teaching you, you know. Through moments like this, through people like us, she's still here." That night, Walter watched the ball drop on TV, but he wasn't alone. Mia was on the couch next to him, already in her pajamas. Sarah was in the kitchen, making popcorn. When midnight came, they toasted with sparkling cider. "Happy New Year!" Mia shouted. Walter smiled. "Happy New Year, kiddo!" Because that night reminded him of something he'd forgotten. Even in the loudest place on earth, one small decision can change everything, not just for the person you help, but for you too. Millions of people celebrated that night in Times Square, but one little girl just needed someone to stop, someone to kneel, someone to listen, someone to stay. Walter had been alone, grieving, lost in his own way, and Mia had given him something he didn't know he needed, a reason to stay, a reason to keep going, a reason to believe that his life still mattered, because somewhere tonight, someone is lost in the noise, and you might be the one who changes their year or their life forever. The question isn't whether you'll notice. The question is whether you'll stop, whether you'll kneel, whether you'll stay. I choose to stay. Walter wasn't special. He was just someone who stopped walking. Right now, someone near you is lost in the noise. A child, a neighbor, a stranger, waiting for someone to notice. Will it be you? If this story moved you, subscribe to The Day Everything Changed for more stories that matter. Comment below. I choose to stay. Share this with someone who needs the reminder, because kindness isn't dead. It's just waiting for people like you to choose it. Your move